Today, we're looking at Krishna's Orchios. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, Krishna's Orchios is a blue ink, and to make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I put the ink into a different pen for a day. I then put it into a Nemesign Singularity with a fine nib to take my notes for this video. Now, before we look at the writing samples, let's look at the sciencey bits. And up first is the chromatography. And I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down, immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see a very light blue that's sort of staying around as it's pushing up, and it becomes much darker blue as it's pushing up, and we see hints of purple in there. Now the one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. And the bottom line is slightly more there. The blue does start to push up. We really don't see the hints of purple anymore in the dried chromatography. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard they may be to clean from your pen. Now I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I would not use this ink in a note-taking situation if I was a highlighting type person, because not only did it expand out quite a bit to about a medium, but it really started to get quite a bit blurry. It would make me afraid of losing any kind of important notes. Now that's a strange result when we look at what happens with water. Water took away the darkest tones of the blue, but still left a lot of that dark blue behind. Water's not really doing a ton to get rid of this ink, which is the same problem we have with the pen flush. Pen flush moved away all the darker tones, left all the lighter tones, but what's left as the lighter tone is still quite dark, still very there. Now both of these were only given 30 seconds. 1/3 bleach solution removed it completely, left it completely white, no yellow staining behind. Now, if it did take the 1/3 bleach solution to get this out of your pen, then you put it in, you immediately get it out, and you immediately wash that out so that you don't have the bleach causing any kind of rusting. I did have to use a 1/3 bleach solution to get this out of my pen and leave no residues behind. But I haven't had any long-term effect on my pen for having done that. For the inks I've tested, I've found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Krishna's Orchios has a viscosity of 2.45, making it normal. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairefontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper with the extra fine and medium nib. For the inks I've tested, I've found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Krishna's Orchios has an average dry time of 13 seconds, just getting it in under the wire as a normal dry time. Now, let's look at the writing samples. I picked this ink up in bottle form, and I'll use it up. It's not bad. I'll use it up. Yeah. To keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at Clairefontaine. We get no bleeding, no ghosting. All of this silliness all over there was me being, I don't know, sausage fingers all over it right after writing. I don't know what in the world my problem was. We're going to try and ignore that. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine has the exact same tone of blue with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 7 seconds to dry. The medium gives the exact same tone with the extra fine and the 1.1 with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. It felt like I was just smearing it. 12 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it in the smear test. You probably could recover this if you smeared while you were writing. It's not horrible as a blue. I mean, it's got to wait quite a while for it. This is interesting here because there's a spot of sheen that occurs here. Just that spot. Right? Just there.
And it's neat because I see it in one spot here. Tomoe River. Oh, good lord. Tomoe River, no bleeding. Of course we get ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, no halo, no sheen, no shade. The extra fine has the exact same tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. It took 13 seconds to dry. The medium has no feather, spread, halo. It has spots of sheen going on, which is interesting because I think this is the only places I see it. Like I see it some in Ever. I see it some in some in Brown. So it's neat. There's no shading, but there's spots of sheen going on, which is kind of nice. 20 seconds to dry. And this is what first brought my attention, if I can get it to focus. Look at it on the scrubby. So you see it happens in the medium. All right. The scrubby of the extra fine and the medium show us no color variation, but the medium shows us some sheen, and we did see some sheen in the writing sample. We saw no color variation in the writing samples. And the smear test, you probably would have no chance in Hades to recover this if you smeared while you were writing. Rhodia, no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, no halo, no sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the exact same tone as the 1.1 with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. 9 seconds to dry. The medium, same exact tone, no feather, spread, halo, sheen, and unfortunately no shade. 16 seconds to dry. Now the scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it. The smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared this while you were writing. Hazel paper. Every time I have trouble saying it. Noonday Brocade Pocketbook. These are great. Buy Hazel. Get some. Try them. No bleeding, no ghosting. It's a nice toothy paper. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. The extra fine gives the exact same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. It only takes 5 seconds to dry. Now the medium, slightly darker tone than we saw with the extra fine or the medium. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 9 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. It looks more on camera than it is in person for the extra fine, but it's not really there. Same with the medium. There is no color variation. We didn't get any. The smear test, I don't know that you could recover this if you smeared while you were writing. So this is Bristol. This is Canson Bristol artist paper. Like artist board. It's not really board, it's paper. I do like using it. That's why I like testing some inks on it. No bleeding and no ghosting. I would be very surprised if it ever happened. The 1.1 gave no feather spread, halo, sheen, and no shade. Now the extra fine is a slightly lighter tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. 8 seconds to dry. The medium goes to the same dark tone that we saw with the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. 10 seconds to dry. Now the extra fine scrubby shows some color variation, but we see none up here at all. The medium shows none, and we got none. And the smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared while you were writing this. And that is all that I have for this writing sample. Instead of finding inks that look like Krishna's Orchios, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. This being very vibrant blue, I was thinking of a pink magenta, and I went with Krishna's Mandara. Before I give my opinion on this ink, I would ask, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I would invite you to subscribe. So what do I think of Krishna's Orchios? It's a good basic blue. It's just blue. With that, it comes at a high price in small bottles. And if you order from overseas, you have to wait months for it. Thanks for watching.